Happy Thursday from Tampa again. Wow, I was just thinking as I was doing the first mile or so of my walk this morning how refreshing it is to be in one place for a week. One place called home where you can put your head on your own pillow and have your own routine. I know several of my friends travel as extensively as I do for their work, and there's no place like home. Dorothy had it right in The Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home. So happy Thursday, y'all. Today is day 14 of Walk with Winston. So it's hard to imagine that just 2 weeks ago, we started this journey together from the Reston Town Center. And I did my very first video with taping it because I was so fearful of what I would say and how it would come across. And I was like, oh, I'm going to videotape it, and if I like it, then I'll post it. And then my coach says to me, hey, you need to do those live. There's something about, doing these unfiltered, unedited that really inspire me to bring you my best and to, while we're winging it, to be on point. So thanks, Coach Anna, for your inspiration in terms of having me step out in faith and try this out. So it's been a lot of fun. The feedback's been fantastic. You guys really challenge me and give me lots of fodder to think about in terms of change, the whole mindset of change. And that's what this video series has been about up to now, is how do we change our mindset about change? Because, as we've talked about before, there's so many negative connotations in our culture about change. And I think they stifle our creativity. I think they stifle our taking action. They are barriers to the life that we live when we live in fear instead of stepping out in faith. By the way, that stepping out in faith, there's an idea rolling through my head in terms of the encouragement that we need in our culture today, with people seeing others who have stepped out in faith. And so there's an idea that's rolling in my head there that I'm going to pursue here very soon. I really am intrigued and interested in people who've stepped out in faith, taken a small step that have led to other steps, that have led to an outcome that, going into it, they could never have imagined. So if that's you got a story like that, a story like that, instant message me here on Facebook, or reach out to me via my personal email at Winston@winsightz, WINSIGHTZ.com. Sorry for that little diversion there, but it's something that's really inspiring to me, is to see those little steps of faith that people take, and and how it turned out for them later on. I could do a whole series on that. Probably will, because I have some stories from my life, and that's the benefit of being in your 50s, is that you've lived you have a lot of life experiences that can be helpful to others. Well, today's topic is making change inspiring. This is step 2 of the Win the Gift model of making change a game. So yesterday, the last 2 days, we've talked about the first step is to imagine change as the change that you're contemplating, the change that you're taking on is winnable. That it's achievable, that you can feel it, you can experience it, and that you can begin to create the faith and belief in the change so that you can begin to visualize it. And the second letter of this 7-step plan is making change inspiring. Again, these early steps are all about mindset and creating the belief in ourselves that the change that we're seeking is totally not only possible, but probable, and is going to occur. So, how do we make change inspiring? Well, I talked yesterday a little bit about some of the tools that I'm using to visualize my health change. So I shared that I had the 2 pictures on my bathroom mirror of me at a healthier place. And so that was reinforcing how winnable this journey is going to be for me, because I can see that I've done it before. But I think it's also important to draw inspiration as we're thinking through this goal and thinking through this opportunity that's in front of us for a significant life change. And so what I mean by that is drawing upon other successes, other resources, other models that bring out the best in us. And so making change inspiring. I'm, the origin of, I'm not an English major, so those of you who are, you can correct me on this. But I believe that the root of, the word inspiration has its origin in faith traditions. It's inbreathing God's Spirit into us or into others. And I'm just, I take a lot of courage and take a lot of encouragement from inspiring things. So what are the things that would inspire you to consider this change that you're contemplating? Is it being able to enjoy the first dance at your son's wedding or daughter's wedding? Is it to have the margin and freedom in your life that allows you to fully express the creativity that is inside you? Is it the I was just getting my split time in my ear. So for example, one of the things my sister and I have talked about on our respective health journeys is to begin thinking about what are the outcomes that would really draw us and pull us into the change versus pushing and struggling with change. What are the things that would really help us? And I know that dancing, being able to freely dance at her son's wedding and just having the time of her life is a big motivator for my sister, for example. For me, I see, that just reminds me. I had a great inspiration from my weight loss journey, my health journey, probably 15 years ago, was a very significant 120-pound weight loss. And the inspiration I had for that was a hike that I wanted to do. So I was married to an adventurous girl at the time who loves to travel and loves to be on adventures. And one day we were talking about, I said, well, so what's been your favorite adventure? What's been your favorite travel thing that you've ever done? And she talked about how she had done helicopter hiking in the Canadian Rockies. And she described it so vividly to me, and it sounded like an adventure. I'd never been in a helicopter before. I'd never been to the Canadian Rockies before. And I never had an adventure that was going to require that much physical stamina and exertion. And the combination of those 3 things captured my imagination. And there was a 4th thing. There was a 4th thing that was part of that deal, was that at the time they had weight limits as to how much one could weigh to participate in such an adventure. So the combination of those 4 things gave me lots of inspiration. It gave me a vivid picture of the future. It gave me a measurable an outcome that I could really buy into and understand and get excited about. And it also had consequences to it in terms of if I didn't lose that weight, I would never get to experience such an adventure. Well, it was about a year later that I was on that helicopter and leaving from base camp, where they took us to a lodge, and I was able to get in to that helicopter, experience that helicopter, and some of my best photos that I've ever taken in my entire life came from that trip. It was a trip of a lifetime, a memory of a lifetime. And so maybe one of the ways that we can make change a game is to draw upon some inspiration that's outside of ourselves, that would give us incredible drive and motivation going forward. If you think about video games, and this video games are kind of the inspiration for this model. You know, how do they design video games so that you want to continue to level up? And I think that's ultimately the metaphor we're talking about here in terms of this change process, is leveling our life up and experiencing all that God has in mind for us in our life. And if you think about many of the classic video games, they have a hero element to them, where not only are we going through these challenges, but we are also going to save somebody or to conquer some big hurdle. And so there's an underlying theme of inspiration and accomplishment in each of those games. We want to accomplish a certain level, and that gives us access to another level. It gives us access to another level. And so as you think about the change that you're contemplating, let's not only make it winnable, chunk it into smaller bite-sized pieces. You know, if you think about video games, they have levels, and then you get to move up to the next one. And even if you fail, you're still at that level. You've accomplished that one thing, and now you're going to take the next step, next step, next step. But also, how can we put emotion within this change and draw inspiration from something outside of ourselves? So maybe your change that you're contemplating is not only for yourself, but for others. Maybe it's a way that when you accomplish this change, you're going to be able to bless others in a new way. Or you're going to be able to have more margin in your life so you can spend more time with the people that you love. Let's not focus just on your outcome, but focus on what that outcome could do for others. I draw a ton of inspiration from that. I hope you do too. So, the winning the gift starts with chunking our goals, our desires into smaller pieces that we are extremely confident that we can win. And then the second part is drawing inspiration that will keep us motivated, give us that why, give us more certainty about the why that we're pursuing it. And also, maybe it's also giving us an incentive or a goal that really stretches us beyond our boundaries and what we think we can do. Well, I hope you're drawing inspiration from these walks. I'm already feeling a difference in terms of my physical stamina, my mental alertness, just by sharing these walks with you. It's day 52 of my Summer of Transformation challenge with my sister. And one of the things I notice on these walks already is, now by day 50, I'm feeling disappointed if I don't get 10,000 steps a day. It's like, before it's like, 10,000 steps, can I ever get that done? How would I do extra exercise to get that done? And now it's like, it's automatic. It's like expected. If I don't get 10,000 steps, I'm disappointed. And now I'm beginning to think, if I don't get 12,000 steps, I'm disappointed, or 15,000 steps. So it's funny how habitual daily action leads to great results. So with that, you guys have a great Thursday. And be careful when you cross the street. I'll talk to you later.